Hey guys, Justin with Watermark Fixtures here. Wanted to cover something with you regarding our larger sinks. We've shot this video several times and it's a little bit more complex, so you're going to see a little bit of inconsistencies in terms of the materials, the clothes, me, all of it, so just bear with me. What we're doing today is we're going to be adjusting our 60-inch sink so that the water drains properly. To do this, we're going to need a few things, which are water, a level, and some shims. And that's how we're going to do the project. But before we go into this, I did want to explain a little bit about why the sink does this. I think it's important to understand exactly what's going on so that you can see it's not really a defect as much as a byproduct of how the sink is made. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, let's start with how these sinks are made. That is something that's kind of important to know because it's going to explain exactly why we're having the drainage issues that you may see in your sink. When this piece starts out, it's essentially raw cast iron. It's ore, and it's poured into a mold at and then heated up at 1500 degrees. That's how you get it from a big lump of ore into the shape of a sink. Once that happens, you have your sink. It's perfect. It's level. It's great. Pull it out, it cools, and it's good. However, whenever you go to add the porcelain enamel, that's when you start to see a little bit of a shift and a skewing in terms of the sink itself. So the sink starts, like I said, with the ore, and then there's something called frit, which is a really weird way of saying porcelain enamel. It's just ground up glass that is applied by hand onto the sink. So when it comes to the porcelain enamel and the frit, that's a process that's actually applied by hand. Now, anything applied by hand, you're going to have a margin of error. That's just reality. It's not a machine. It's not going to be 100%. So whenever you do add that by hand, you may have slight buildups here and there. And what that's going to do is that's going to cause a little bit of unleveling. So that's one issue that you could face that may make your sink skew out a bit. The other issue that you're going to face is going back to the frit and the porcelain enamel. So let's go back to whenever it's pulled out of the mold. So you're here and you have your sink and it's perfect. And then whenever it cools and you add your porcelain enamel, you're bringing your sink from totally room temperature back to 1500 degrees. Now, 1500 degrees from room temperature, you're going to have changes. It's going to shift, it's going to skew, it's going to change a little bit from what you originally wanted and expected. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how, well, not we, I guess I'm speaking myself as multiple personalities. I'm going to show you how to adjust this sink so that your water drains properly and you get it exactly the way that you need so that it functions and it's beautiful. Because without function, it's just pretty, and frankly, needs more of that. All right, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start by dropping the sink into your countertop and checking the level. So you're going to take your level, place it in the center right there. Okay, you're going to place your level, and you're going to check and make sure that you are level front to back and left to right. So starting right now, we're testing the level from left to right, and as you can see, it is actually level. Next, you're going to go ahead and check to make sure that you're level from front to back. So you place your level the opposite way, and make sure that you're within spec in your level. So now, after a delay for technical difficulties, we're going to add our water to the sink, and we went ahead and put some dye in it just to illustrate exactly what we're talking about with pulling. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in there. And is that showing up? Let's see. So, as you can see, the water is staying in the basin. What we're doing next is going to correct that so it drains appropriately. Okay, changing the angle up a little bit, I do want to show where the water is pooling, because that's the side that you're going to have to take up in order to get the water to go into the drain and everything to work. So you'll notice that in this instance, the water is pooling in the front of the sink, meaning that we're going to need to actually lift that up so that the water does go where it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and work on that now. Okay, so you're going to note that we do have the level in place, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the level to unlevel the sink at this point. So we have our shim from the beginning of the video, and we're going to go ahead and lift up the sink just a little bit and drop the shim in place a little bit more. Ah, we got it. Okay, so now we have our shim in place.
3.
Okay, so putting that shim in place, what we've essentially done is unleveled the sink in a way that it will drain, in theory. So let's test it. Oh, I like that sound. Okay, so you'll see that it is draining much better than before. We have a little bit left, so we may bring it up just a little bit more, but you do get the idea of where we're going. We no longer have that giant pool of blue like we did before, which is progress. So you may have to do this test a couple of times, but it's sort of like repeat steps 2 through 3 until you get it right. Here, we're close enough. And we're back. Okay, so as you can tell from the costume change, this video took more than 1 day. And if I was a professional, I would have kept my outfit the same for continuity. Luckily, that's not why you're here. So, okay, you're going to note that the front and the back of the sink are no longer level. That was the point of what we just went through. Left and right actually are. So what you're going to do, because how does this work with your countertop? The way you're going to make this work is you're going to route your 2 sides and your back basically to the same level that you want to compensate for the level that you raise the front. So the front of your countertop is going to stay level, and then you're going to do the other 3 sides, route it out so that it drops just a little bit. Does that make sense? Okay, well, if so, great. And if not, then hit us up with questions. Thank you.